Glenn, who's supposed to be my guest today, still hasn't shown up. I might actually have to call him like while we're live here on air. Like, bro, what's going on, man? These time changes though, they mess with people. Like, it's so hard scheduling things. I'm scheduling some upcoming interviews, and one of the guys I want to interview is this guy. He goes by Mish Chad of Arabia, and he actually lives in the Middle East. And so I'm trying to like figure out the time difference and stuff. It's like a 9-hour time difference. So I'm like, okay, well, is that what if I do it at this time? Is it still the same day? It's crazy. Same thing happens when I'm working with like Jack Napier, because Jack is in the Netherlands. So trying to get that stuff scheduled sometimes difficult. But Glenn's only an hour difference. So I don't know what his excuse is this morning. All right, let's give him a call. Let's see if he's available. Because this was his idea, by the way. If you guys don't know Glenn, he's a co-host on the Dragon Ship podcast. It's pretty good. It's RP Thor's show.
Dude, sorry I'm late. I was on the highway and the fucking baby was running on the highway. Anyway, long story short, that's why I'm 5 minutes late for work, because it took a long ass time for me to get the fucking deer and
It's time!
Content in this video may trigger you if you're a pansy, a feminist, soy boy, a white knight. So if you require a safe space and you don't know the real definition of tolerance, I suggest that you turn off this video and go find Drag Queen Story Hour somewhere. You might enjoy that better.
All right, guys, joining me is my man Glenn Lawrence. He's the Manosphere's resident Hollywood heartthrob, and he's also the co-host of the Dragon Ship podcast with RP Thor, and he also does all of the producing for Apex Mindset now. Now he makes videos on YouTube, and a lot of his videos are, he calls them correction videos.
I got Glenn Lawrence with me here today, too.
Glenn, we love Glenn.
The only white man I know on Coast. Welcome, Glenn Lawrence.
Mr. Glenn Lawrence. There he is, Mr. Handsome, Mr. Hollywood.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Glenn Lawrence, and I'm back with another one. This is cool. I'm doing this new setup. I am actually still building out my studio in Las Vegas, so pardon me for not having a cool setup yet. But who do I got with me today? I got the one and only, the Husband. You guys know him. He's the gay dating coach out of Philadelphia for all the gays. And I got Jaron Scott. You know him from the 10% and Rich Cooper's 1% group. What's going on, Jaron? How you doing today, man? Oh, you are muted.
Ew, I'm doing well. How are you gentlemen doing? There we go. Now I'm unmuted.
Doing good. Doing good. I want to give a shout out to all the fathers today. Happy Father's Day for all you fathers. That's right. Shout out to you men who really are the reason why there's any people running around. Because without you nutting in women, there would be no kids. So men are the ones that give life. Women just incubate it.
It's true.
Think about
we sow
that.
the seeds of creation.
Yeah. And actually, that's actually from a scripture. I found it today in
Oh, is
Proverbs.
it? Oh, I just made that up.
No, that's from a scripture. Actually, I want to say thank you to Danny Arnold, because he actually sent me a scripture. It was like, what, Proverbs 21 or 24, Danny. Anyways, I was scrolling down on it, and then it was talking about like, honor thy fathers because your fathers give you life, and be kind to your mother in her old age, and then it went on to something else. But I tweeted it this morning. But it was cool. I was like, wow, interesting. Because we always talk about it like mothers give life. Moms are the incubators of the life. You can't incubate life unless life is actually given inside it first. Think about it. Got to have something to fertilize the egg first. The thing that's alive is the thing that fertilizes the egg. So thank your dads for your breathing. Okay. And thank your mom for not aborting you. Well, some of you she probably should have. But anyways, moving on. Today we are going to be talking about Father's Day. I want to give a shout out to the chat. Danny Arnold, see you in there. Smoking Patriot, my dude. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for being here. Yes, you sent me Proverbs 21:19 and 21:9. Yes, thank you, Danny. And my baby girl, happy to see you in here, Pillow Talk with Coco. We are going to be moving along, and we're talking about Father's Day. We always hear this thing about Father's Day, right? It's like, thank you, Mom, for being both mom and dad. Because without mom being dad with the strap on, I don't know where I would be, right? And then we hear like guys and girls, women, men and women, both blaming their dads for their stupidity. Like, oh, I don't know how to be a man because my dad wasn't around to show me how to be a man.
Well, that's what single mothers are. We should celebrate single mothers on Father's Day, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
it's actually Single Mother's Day.
Yeah, if you're single mom and she was doing both mom and dad roles, then you shouldn't blame your dad for not being there. If she could do it all, right? I mean, it's kind of funny. Like they're in their own statement. It's like, my mom was both mom and dad. Like, she did the best. She was the best mom and dad ever. Happy Mother's Day and Father's Day to you. But then when shit hits the fan, like, oh, the reason why I'm a fucktard is because my dad wasn't there. And it's like, but you just said your mom was the dad. But I'm confused.
Yeah, no, that's a big one. And like, every time Father's Day comes around, and this is part of the reason why I actually don't go to church very much anymore, is because of the narrative that they have, where on Mother's Day it's like praising them and thanking them, and then on Father's Day, and that's why I made the title of this with the thumbnail, Fathers, Man Up, because that's what every single sermon ends up breaking down into on Father's Day. Fathers aren't doing enough, and we don't. It's always do more, do more, do more. It's never appreciative of what fathers are actually doing.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Jared?
Yeah, I have an interesting perspective on it in the sense that I grew up, I'm the oldest son of a single mom. So I've talked about this a lot on my channel, where I think there is some psychological consideration to take into a large factor when you are the oldest son of a single mom, because you become the surrogate husband. So in my case, it was always, your dad's terrible, he's a loser, he left, he abandoned you. But then I got to the point, especially when I started finding more of these red pill type topics, and it really happened to me when I hit my early 30s or so, when I was the age where I have a clear memory of who my dad was at that same age. And I started realizing very quickly that, oh my God, like I am much more like my dad than I ever thought. But as a kid with a single mom, you always heard like, oh, he's terrible. Like, don't be like him. And then whether you want to or not, guess what, guys? You're just like your dad. So I got to the point where I was like, all right. And I stepped back outside of myself for a bit, looked at things objectively, and realized, okay, like any human being, girl or guy, you have your positives and have your negatives. So I started to analyze things and thought, well, I'll downplay the negatives that I remember from my dad, but my dad had a lot of positive things to him too. I never heard this from my single mom growing up, but I have memories of my dad when he was my age. He was fun, he was outgoing, he was sociable, everyone liked him. He did have a lot of game. I remember when I was a kid, he banged my swimming teacher and he banged my second grade teacher, and pretty much any female that came into my life as a kid, my dad would at some point hook up with her. I'm like, all right. So like, my dad wasn't completely a piece of shit, although that's what was ingrained in my brain from the single mom. And it's nothing against my mom. That's kind of the narrative. And I have a really close relationship with my mom now too. We had to kind of undo some of that societal programming that she received for her to have healthy, happy relationships in her later years. And once she did that, she's like, oh my God, yeah, I'm so sorry. I realized, I was a terrible mom because your dad wasn't around, which, by the way, guys, single moms watching out there, you're not a good mom. By definition, if there's not the biological father in your child's life, or you remove him from the child's life, or you don't allow him to actively participate in the child's life, you are not a good mom. So this is where a lot of people screw up. And once my mom came to that realization, her whole life changed. Now she can actually have relationships, which is good because we don't have to worry about her in her golden years, her retirement age.
I want to say,
going back to, yeah, go ahead.
I would add, like, you know, a caveat there, like, because there's some dads that are just degenerates, right?
That's
like,
true. Yeah, that is true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're a drug addict and, like, you know, I don't know if you're a pedo or, you know, you're a bank robber, like, you know, like, if you're a bum, I don't really see the benefit of you being around your kid's life. You know what I'm saying? Maybe your kids should know you, but should you actually have the ability to influence their life? Don't think so. You know?
And you do,
but
you do
again,
hear
they
this
should
story
not be
sometimes.
weaponized against them, though. That's what I'm saying.
And you do hear the stories from a lot of single moms who are like, well, you know, he was a great guy at first and then things changed. And I have seen that. I have seen people in my peer group, professional colleagues, people around my age range where that does happen. I know guys, personal friends of mine, that we were buddies back in college, and then you catch them 10, 15 years later. It's like, bro, you're kind of screwing up. You need to get your life on track. So that does happen. But I think the mainstream culture narrative is that, okay, well, the moms should be revered and the dads should be looked down upon. But in any situation, it takes two to tango. So if you find yourself in a single parenthood type situation, you have to own the fact or take some accountability that, like, you had a participatory role in that relationship not working out. Whether it's entirely your fault,
It's
partially
almost
your
like,
fault, it doesn't really matter. But you have to own it.
yeah, it's like, ladies, you pick the guy. You spread your legs open willingly for that guy. Like, you got some ownership there. If you pick the bed, if your picker's not working, well, it's like this. It's funny because, like, women are always right, except when it comes to picking men, right?
It's always
they're
the
right
man's
about
fault.
everything else except when it comes to picking
always,
men. But it's funny, but I don't mean that to rag on them, but, you know, like, I know somebody that she's a good mom. Like, she really tries her best and she busts her ass for her kids. And you know, she really did like when you talk about, like, how often do you see women simp? This girl simps for everybody, you know? Like, I know her, like, she's a friend of mine, and it's like anytime I had friends around, she banged all my friends. And, you know, she's a single mom, and it's like, but she really does love her kids, and she just kind of gets with the wrong people. Like, she got with the wrong guy, had 3 kids with him, didn't vet him properly, but it was like, because she's a female simp, it was just like what she did. And it's unfortunate because now she's a single mom. She's works in the medical field. She has a great career. But there's always that lack of fatherhood there for her kids, right? Because she made the wrong mistake, or she made a mistake of reproducing with the wrong person. And it's not that these kids are bad. These kids are great. It's the fact that, like, she didn't pick a good mate to reproduce with. And it's like, now she has the consequences of it. And now the kids have the consequences of it. And, you know, I hear this a lot from guys and girls. It's like, I don't know how to be a man because my dad wasn't there. So now it's like, it's my dad's fault that I don't know how to be a man. Or it's my dad's fault that I'm a hoe and he didn't tell me not to keep my legs closed. And that's why I'm on the pole. Right?
Although everyone knows that.
I
Everyone knows you should not do that.
You know, like, why do you need, like, when does it come a time where it's like, hey, guess what? You have to man the fuck up and be responsible and be you. You have, if your dad was a total horrible person, that doesn't give you the right or the excuse to be a shitty dad yourself.
Which, if your dad was terrible, you can use him as an example of what not to be.
Yep,
that's right.
And here's one for you. Like, when I think, if I do inward inflection, so when when I got arrested and I got into trouble with I was a bad picker with the girl. When this all happened, it was years later that I got in an argument with my dad, and I had asked him, like, did you see this as like that? You knew this relationship. Did you see this as being a problem? Did you see it going this direction? And he's like, yeah, I never liked her. And it's like, but why didn't you ever tell me? And I just like emotionally was pointing fingers at him. It's like, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you direct me? Why weren't you the father that?
Let me
like,
answer that question. I know why why he didn't tell you. Because you don't like listening to Glenn's.
I don't like listening to Glenn's. That's true. but in all seriousness,
daddy.
I had to look.
His dad's name was Glenn, so that's why I had to say that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I had to,
that detail. That's funny.
But I had to look inward on myself and be like, you know what? I can try and outward blame other people for the situation that I got myself in, but I need to take responsibility for what I did. And I mean, it also teaches me too that the way that I want to raise my children is a lot more open communication. And it came through that self-reflection and actually owning my own mistake instead of pointing outwards on it.
That's a good comment. That's a good point right there.
Yep, so I know her dad. Actually, it's my father-in-law, and he is a very strong man. Now, I mean, you know, just like all of us, we have our hindrances, our hurdles in life, but he defied odds. You know, he should have been a degenerate. By the way women talk about the lack of dads and how shitty dads are, he should have been a degenerate. He should have been a drug addict. You know, he should have been moving cocaine from Brazil or Colombia. You know, but he didn't. He was a lawman. He worked in law enforcement, and he became a great father. And he has 3 great children to brag about it. And it's like he didn't have an excuse, or he didn't take the excuse. He didn't accept the easy way out. You know, so although this title is kind of like man up, it is kind of man up, men. You know, like, you don't have an excuse. There's how many red pill men out there, whether you want to go biblical patriarchy, you can go down, look at the Bible for references of what a good father is, or if you want to go look at the red pill space and see other men that are strong, masculine, positively masculine men, you know, that to model after. There's no reason anymore in the day and age that we live now to where men should not find a mentor to be that father figure for them if they need it. There's no excuse. You can't say, well, I don't know how to be a man. There's how many freaking, you know, programs out there how to be a man. And the only one that I support and that I would push is Aaron Clary's The Dad You Never Had. Great course. Shout out to Aaron Clary, even though he's a son of a bitch for leaving Nevada for the summer. And I will kick your ass I'll kick your ass when you get back here, buddy. But no, The Dad That You Never Had, great course. And it's sad that we live in a day and time where you can make money off of a Dad You Never Had course. No shots at Aaron Clary because it's needed. But the fact is that men don't know where to find it. Men don't know how to find other men and tribes of men to, you know, connect with.
And when you join these tribes, people like bastardize it. Like, oh, you're like a part of that like red pill community. Yeah. Like, what is wrong with you?
Well, it's because of guys like Jaron going overseas, banging all the women. You know,
he's a passport bro. Come on.
Passport.
I've been a passport bro since before that was a thing. I went to school in Mexico in the early 2000s.
So you're like, you were a passport bro before passport.
I'm an OG.
You're like an OG of the passport bros. Is that what you're telling us?
Oh, I figured that out 20 years ago. Yeah, now passport bros is the thing. Like, oh, you're a part of this movement. Like, no, I did my undergraduate in Mexico in like 2006. So I'm ahead of the curve there a little bit. But I definitely get why guys are doing it. It's fun being abroad. I'm in Greece right now. I'm having a great time.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like, what is... If you guys are going to talk to if let's say you guys had, let's say either of you reproduced, HUDs, Unless its name is Glenn, we're not having you reproduce.
I'm hanging out at these gay clubs too often to be able to find somebody to reproduce with. So
Well, that makes sense. It's because you're coaching them. But you know, what do you think like are important lessons that fathers should install in men? And what are things that like men should just, where do you think modern men are failing because of either lack of just masculinity or, you know, leadership?
well, here's one that I'm going to throw in just because it's one example that popped into my mind, and then I'll throw it over to Jaron as I think about some more. One of the things is leading by example, which is really, really interesting because when I think back to how I was raised with my father, I would notice every single time we would go out to eat, it'd be like me, him, my sister, my mom. He would always flirt with the waitress. And I always found it very interesting because like it taught me game, and it also, I mean, it kept my mom on her toes because she knew that my dad was like a high quality man and he was very suave. And so when you lead by example in everything that you do in life, I would have some cute little Ninos. But yeah, when you lead by example, it instills lessons subconsciously. Like I had never talked to my dad about this, but it's something I observed all the way through. And it translated when I started to get good with women. Like I would think about that because I had seen it. And I do the same thing to this day, you know, just being naturally charismatic with not just women, but other people.
I think that's
So
a good
leadership.
point. I'll piggyback. Yeah, I'll
Go ahead,
piggyback on
Jen.
that. I think being a dad really comes down to, or just not even necessarily a dad, like a male, positive male influence. So, like, I grew up, my dad took off when I was about 8 years old, but I grew up with a grandpa who still to this day is married. He's been married like 85 years. He's old. He's been married for a long time. He's a centenarian. And then I had alpha uncles. So I still had that positive male influence, but at the time, again, growing up in a single mother household, they'd be like, oh, well, my mom would say like my dad or my grandpa, oh, well, he thinks this, or your uncle thinks this, or whatever. But again, as an adult, I'm glad that I had that positive male masculine behavior modeled in front of me, because when uncertainties or situations or tough patches in the road come up in life, you kind of know how to handle it. And it's not like my grandpa ever sat me down. He's like, here's what you need to know about this. My uncle said, here's a life lesson that I should instill upon you that you'll take into your adulthood. But things come up and you just kind of respond in a way according to behavior patterns you've seen modeled in front of you. So whether your dad's around or not, I think as long as you have a positive male influence, that's fantastic. And again, I got to an age where I remember my dad back in the day where he would openly flirt with women, and he was really good at just making not just women but men too, just people feel good being in his presence. And I think the unfortunate nature was, my parents' divorce, I think, kind of broke him, and maybe he never recovered. But I do have those memories. I do remember of him taking, like Huds, like you said, going to restaurants and just women just really enjoying being around him. So like, okay, well, at times in my life where I couldn't quite figure it out with women, I never had problems with women, but I wasn't optimized or being in the process of optimization where I am now, to where, okay, well, what do I do here? Yeah, you can read the theoretical stuff all day long. You can read the blogs or watch the YouTube videos, but you really just kind of need to know intuitively or instinctually what to do in this situation when certain things occur. And I think, again, to piggyback on Huds's point, it's really more about modeling the correct behavior. Or when they modeled the incorrect behavior, like my dad is a bit of a drinker and he was a little short of the temper, to understand like, oh my God, that lives inside of me. I have that in me. So I need to make sure that I don't go down that path, but accentuate the positives, because my dad did have a lot of positive things to him. I'm very glad I had that experience of being able to observe that part of his personality, realizing that I share those positive traits too, and then allowing those to blossom. And a big thing I say in my dad's situation is, some unfortunate things happened between my parents, but he was a good guy at the end of the day. So I want to rewrite the family history. At about my age is where things kind of went off the rails for him. Well, I can change that story, and that will live through my kids and my grandkids. So that's kind of the way I see it.
Yeah, you said, like your dad has some mistakes, and you're like, okay,
We all do. I do too.
And you're like, I can learn from this. His mistakes doesn't make him a bad dad. You know, I could take the good and discard the bad. I could take the good traits that he taught me and work on those. And then also do the good traits that he didn't do. Because I saw from bad behavior, right? You know, it's like the reason why we hate our dads is because why? Society told us. Women has told us. If you were a man and you have a dingling, you're wrong. Sorry. The only men that are accepted in this society are trans men because they're the real men, apparently.
And
they have the
good
best of
point to
both
make
worlds,
too is,
right? And in the eyes of society, they have the best of both worlds. They are both feminine because naturally they're feminine, but they could display whatever masculinity they want. That's what society's saying is a good man. And I think it's stupid. But the reason why we hate our dads is because it's a taught and a learned behavior. We don't naturally come out the womb hating our dads, you know? And it's like, there's a difference. Jerry, there's a difference about just moving in with mom so she can help the family. That's different. That's different because, you know, moms, you know, could be grandmas. Grandmas are great babysitters if they're in your frame, you know, like, hey, free childcare, no problem.
My mom's a great grandma. I wish she was the way she is a grandma. I wish she was that type of mother. But being a grandma, you kind of get to do it again. It's round two, and unfortunately,
you kind of get to like correct the mistakes that you made after you learned about them. Like, and you guys are talking about your dads. Like, my dad got game. Okay, like Glenn Senior, that motherfucker got game. He's had game. My third grade girlfriend broke up with me because my dad came and visited me at school, and I get this little letter. I'm sorry, we have to break up. I like your dad. Okay, so awesome. My dad has game.
Wait, that actually happened?
That really happened. Like,
awesome.
My dad has
That's
game.
funny.
Like, I'm 38. I turned 39 next month. My dad is dating a girl younger than me, and he's in his 60s. My dad got game. My dad got more game than Milton Bradley. And if you know who Milton Bradley is, they created Monopoly. Okay,
so Monopoly guy.
Yeah, my dad got game, and it's like he's always been that masculine guy. Like, I know if anything ever went down and I needed my dad, he would drop everything to take care of his son. Why? Because it's his responsibility. He says, he's like, just because you're an adult doesn't make you not my responsibility. You're still my son. You're my son until the day I die, until the day you die. Until then, I always have a responsibility for you. And it's just like, I never want to put him in that situation because I want to be a man that he could be proud of. But to know that I have my dad there. I mean, moms are cool, but dads, there's something about dads that society is trying to get rid of, that dads are the most important thing in every child's life. I'm sorry to say this. Moms are great for birth and great for nurturing. But there's something about dads, especially when you are older in life, when you're a teenager and when you're a young adult, or even when you're an older adult, there's something about dads that can never be replaced by moms. There's nothing moms could ever do to replace a dad. And that makes dads so critical and so important. Whether I was talking to another content creator the other day, and he has a bad relationship with his dad. And I told him, like, look, man, you need to repair that relationship. Because you don't want to go in life and say, man, I wish I had the opportunity to talk to my dad. And there's something about a father's presence in your life, or a father figure's presence in your life, that could literally change the course and the direction of your life. And that's where mentors are important too. I mean, the three of us are very blessed and have the opportunity to work with great names in this space. Jaron, you work with Rich Cooper. Great guy, you know.
Yep.
Great.
He's fantastic. I love Reg.
I'm blessed to work with Rollo Tomasi on the regular. I'm blessed to work with Thor on the regular. Phil Foster. I'm greedy. I'm snatching up all the dads and be like, okay, I'll take you. I'll take you. I'm taking them all and I'm putting them in my pocket. I'm greedy. You guys got to go find your own. But it's like mentorship is so important, especially for young men. And guys, they need to realize that, like, look, just because society said that, you know, men are bad, or maybe your dad was an idiot, doesn't mean all men are, because there's men in this space right now that have been more of a father figure to the young men than their own biological dads. And they sought them out. These young men sought this leadership out. So there is no excuse anymore. None.
And that's the case, like with our dads. My parents got divorced in the early '90s, and again, I talk to my mom a lot. You know, she was your typical single mom, but she's come a long way. And she's like, hey, she's like, we didn't know any of this stuff. She's like, it's a lot of my coaching clients. They'll call like, hey man, I'm in a marriage. I'm about ready to lose my kids, losing half my net worth, and they always say, I did everything right and I failed. Well, my parents have both said the same things, but back 30 years ago, they didn't have YouTube. They didn't have this stuff. There's no, okay, Tom Likas in the late 90s, but he was considered a shock jock. They didn't have any of this stuff. So my parents just followed the societal script. Inevitably, it led to a disaster in terms of breaking apart the family, but neither one of them wanted that to happen. So kind of the way I do content, I get a lot of coaching clients and they'll call in and they'll tell me their story. And I'm like, I'm literally talking to my dad right now. So I can go back retroactively and save my dad in real time. And then again, change the family story to where this never happens again.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. You said that, and it's true, because I've coached men that are 65 years old, my dad's age, and they've come to me and I'm talking to them and they're talking about their failed relationships. And I'm just like, this is how you could change the game. This is how you could change your lineage. And I think it's important for men to realize that we have a lineage. Our kids are our lineage. That's our legacy. What do we want to leave behind? I mean, it's great. Yeah, I want my name shouted up at the rooftops and everybody to see me. That's great. But what are my kids going to say about me? What is the lineage of my legacy? Is it just going to be have a name plastered or a star on the ground? Or am I going to be changing people's lives? You know, it's funny. I'm going to get biblical on you guys. Father Abraham really only had like 2 sons. But he was going to be the father of nations. You have nations. That's why the Abrahamic religions come from what? Abraham. He has changed the game for society. That's the legacy I would love to leave behind. Now, I'm not having any more kids, but I have the power to influence young men and coach young men and help young men become better men. And when I say better men, I mean better men for the way that they want to live their life. I don't want you to be a Glenn, Lawrence, replica. Okay.
I don't want to be a Glenn Lawrence replica either. I don't
like. Well, you couldn't. You have to bench at least 315. But like, I don't want you to be a replica of me. I want you to be your man. I want you to be a man that you're proud of, the man that you create. Take the advice that I give. You can discard it, take what you like, but apply it to your life and watch you improve. I love hearing improving stories. And I love guys that love hearing improving stories. I do this thing with Phil Foster. And he'll text me. He'll be like, tell me what today's win is. And I'm going through the list of things that I've done. I'm like, this is what I did today. He goes, that's a fucking win. He's like, tell me how we are winning today. And it's just like, yo, I'm at the gym. I'm knocking out 315. That's a win. It's like, you need men. We need men in our lives that give a damn like that. But you have to give a damn too. So there's no more excuses. I'm tired of all the excuses about my dad wasn't there or I don't have a good dad. There's a lot of surrogate fathers out there, and you either are ignoring them, rejecting them, or you're not looking for them.
Like, let's put it this way. Why do guys search for, like, let's just say dating advice? Why do they search for that? Because they see something missing in their life. So then they'll come across like PUAs or dating coaches, whatever. The reason why is because they're seeking answers. So if you think about it, if you have absent father or whatever else, instead of blaming like, oh, woe is me, I'm the victim, just go ahead and search for the answers. They're all there.
Then going back on the legacy thing, Glenn, you made a good point. My mom's dad, my grandpa, so he had a very big presence in my life. I really looked up to him, really admired him. And in my mom's family, well, between my mom and my dad's family, there's two paths to take. If you take care of yourself, if you work hard, If you stay on the straight and narrow, you live to 100 years old and you age very well. If you drink, if you do drugs, if you're kind of a fuck up, you die very young in a very horrible fashion. So I've always admired my mom's dad. And I remember, God, he's like 100 and something now, but when he was getting into his 80s, he's kind of like, hey, I'm getting old, I'm not a spring chicken anymore, at any point. For like the last 20 years, every time I see him, like, this could be the last time, I'm like, no, you're going to hang in there. Like, he's a country boy, too. It's like 100-year-old man with grip strength. Oh, my God, he's fucking strong. And but I remember years ago, he said something like, hey, this might be the last time you see me. And he was really concerned. He was having a hard time. He's like, hey, like, I'm going to die soon, and I don't want to. What's going to happen? And I remember it came to me in the moment, and I said something to him because I look just like him. So it's really cute. Like when I go to weddings in the family or whatever, my grandma always wants pictures with me. She's like, you look just like your dad you look just like my husband, my granddad when he came back from the war. And it's got kind of a cute little detail. But I remember telling my grandpa, I said something along the lines of like, he's like, hey, what am I going to die like? I'm going to be gone. Like, I'm not going to exist anymore. And I remember looking right at him, and I looked just like him. He's like, what are you talking about? Like, you're looking at a reflection of you back at you in real time through me. Like, you're going to live forever. Every interaction I have with anyone, maybe it leaves a massive impact in their life. Maybe I say something that resonates and it changes their life trajectory. Or maybe it's just me. I'm in Greece right now, just smiling at someone like, oh, Americans aren't that bad after all. It doesn't matter. But like, you will live forever. You will resonate through me and your 12 other grandchildren. Like, what are you talking about, Grandpa? You did it. Like, you will live in eternity. And that's the importance of a legacy. And that's kind of the way I see it with my coaching clients or guys in my private community. Like, I can step outside in the street and get hit by a bus like tonight. It's almost midnight here. I'm going to go out after this, but that could happen tonight. But the impact I've had on every single person with whom I've interacted in my life, I will live forever. And I'm an extension of my granddad. I'm an extension of my dad, of my uncles, of every positive male influence and mentor. Rich Cooper, Glenn, you, Huds, every red pill guy that I've interacted with, collaborated with, you will live forever. And if you see it that way, it makes it even more important to be, I got to be a good man, because my legacy, whether it's biological or not, every day I show up in this world, it will resonate in eternity. And I think that was I came up with it in the moment when I was talking to my grandpa. That was a game changer for me. And for him, I could see just a sense of calm in his face. And he's like, yeah, I've done a good job. And I was like, oh, yeah, that made me feel good too. I'm like, oh, thank you. I'm not a fuck up. Or not that much.
No, it is. It's a good point you make, is because it's like, who am I leaving this legacy behind to? Who's going to carry the baton once I leave? And, I'm not trying to call Rolo old or anything, but, there will get a point to where he's going to want to he's going to want to rest. He's going to want to take his time and rest. Maybe it's the last day of his life. Maybe it's the last 10 years of his life. Who knows? Same thing with Thor. Who are they going to want to give the torch to? Men, there is a part of manning up that we have to do. I'm not trying to like throw shade at, the manning up part, because there is manning up that needs to be done. Okay, we are not perfect. There's a lot of us that we have a lot of work ahead of us, and we got a long road to hoe. And you know what? That's part of our journey. That's part of our testimony. That's part of our legacy. Going through those fires, going through those things, and strengthening them. And we stand on the shoulders of giants. We stand on shoulders of giants, man. But our shoulders, the question is, are our shoulders going to be strong enough for those to stand on our shoulders after we go?
Here's
Here's
a good point
to lift up our shoulders. Go ahead, Darren.
I'm in Athens, Greece right now. So I spent all day. It's actually kind of a hike, like going to Acropolis and the Parthenon and like the Zeus Temple and Hadrian's Library and like all of these ancient artifacts. And just to think, like thousands of years ago, these guys built this. Like things you see on movies that when you're a kid, you're like, oh my God, these epic battles. I'm standing there now, like. This has long outlived these guys. I remember I grew up on a farm, so I remember doing like just manual like day labor and thinking like, oh God, this sucks. And then 20, 30 years later, I go out there, like these trees I planted when I was a kid, like the flowers are blossoming and fruit is coming to fruition and it's getting harvested. And like we grow a lot of cherries. So like most of them go to Japan, although Japan's iconic for cherry blossoms. We export a lot of, my family does, to Japan. But like being at the Acropolis today, like this was built, some probably, I don't know, slave labor or whatever. Like someone had to lay this brick. Someone had to smooth out this marble. Someone planned this, and we don't even know who they are. Okay, we know the big names. They have the bust and they have the heads and the plaques, but the hundreds of thousands of people that actually put in the sweat labor to build this, they're gone. They're long forgotten. But like today, thousands of years later, guys like me get to enjoy it and get to stand atop. I just watched a sunset earlier. It is beautiful. It's one thing to see it on TV, but when you're there, you're like, oh my God, this is epic. And one day I'll die too. And guess what? This is still going to be here. So it kind of changes the way in which you view the world.
It was done by hand. They created the pyramids.
It was hot today
those
too.
buildings by hand. By hand. Those men created them by hand. They didn't have the technology we have. Think of the ability. Think of what we could build. Think of all the great things in society were created by fathers. The fathers of our past, the roads, the planes, the technology that we have was created by fathers. Honor fathers. I mean, the Bible is very clear, and it puts fathers then mothers first, but it goes, honor thy father and thy mother. But why father first? Because fathers are important. Fathers are pinnacle to the success of the lineage. Fathers are the standard bearer of what it takes to be a man.
Now, let
you
me
were not considered a man until your father deemed you worthy to come join the men in the community.
I want to throw something in there, Glenn, because I don't know if you saw this recently, but they have officially figured out a way to create an embryo without any sexual interaction. I'd have to look at the exact specifics, but they figured out how to do it without sex, without a sperm and egg.
I mean, did they do that in Demolition Man?
I haven't watched that movie in forever. What
do you remember when they were having sex in Demolition Man? They put like the goggles on and like this is how we have sex now. I was like, no physical touch. I'm like, that's weird.
We're gonna get there at some point. I think AI is gonna do that for us.
But what I'm trying to say with that is we're going down a dangerous road, because you're right. Without fathers, we can't direct society and build things and improve and go in the right direction. And trying to get rid of the father, then what the hell is going to happen? I mean, heck, I was thinking of like whatever it is, the what was it like in Egypt when they said what was that story of like the plagues or something? It's like the 9. I think I don't even remember the exact thing, but like one of them is like the locusts. And I was joking about it.
It's when Moses goes to Pharaoh and says, "Let my people go," and then he said, and then he's like, "All right, I'm going to kill off the first blood." Passover. It's one of the Passover stories. You put the blood on and then all the kids died that weren't having the blood on the doorway. Yep.
And so I'm thinking about that when I'm seeing all the locusts, because they aren't crickets. They're actually more like locusts. Out in, I think it's actually out where you are in Nevada right now.
They're everywhere.
Yeah. And so I'm just like thinking, like, with all the ridiculousness that's happening in the world, it's like, are we moving towards end times? Like, what the heck are we doing? And I wanted to hone in that point because I think it's very important that we understand the importance of fathers. Fathers build the world. They drive it forward. And without them, we're not going anywhere. We're gonna degenerate, essentially.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, like this push for egalitarianism, women rule, that's the destruction of society. I'm sorry to say this is not me being anti-female or anti-feminist. I'm anti-feminist, but I'm not anti-female. But God created us to play a role. We all have our own role. Now, look, I could put diesel gas in a regular gas tank and it'll probably run a little bit. It'll run for a while, but it'll break down eventually. Now, if I put the correct gas in there, that vehicle will run forever. Until the wheels fall off.
Dude, that reminds me. Have you ever seen the video of the girl who she pulls off the gas thing?
The Tesla?
to wash the car.
Oh God.
You know, it's like
So
I need to
funny.
go back to like respecting fathers as a society. And you know what? There's not enough of that in this space. That's the unfortunate thing. There's a lot of red pill dads out there. A lot. Rolo has over 200,000 subscribers that watch him. I don't know how many Rich has. I'm sure Rich has about the same, if not more.
It's Mark of the Beast 666 on his main channel, but he's got
because
multiple
he's
channels,
the devil.
so
It's because all bald guys are the devil. All bald
Right.
guys are the devil, and that's what it is. Sorry, Rich. You're part of Satan's army. No, I'm kidding. But like, there's all these red pill fathers out there that people listen to. Now, I'm not saying you guys need to thank them and wish them Happy Father's Day, but there's still a way you could honor thy father, even in those men. Are you just consuming the content that they're giving you, or are you actually applying it in your life? How do you think you could honor Rolo? How do you think you could honor Rich? How do you think you could honor Thor? How do you think you could honor these guys that you send in super chats to, and you consume, and you join their communities, and you pay for this shit? How do you think you could honor them? Do you think you honor them by paying for their shit? No. But by taking it, applying it into your life, changing your life, and then changing the next generation's life. That's how you honor them today. We have the ability to do that. Are we going to be consumers or producers? They don't want you to just be a consumer. They want you to consume to produce, not consume just to consume. Men, we have a standard. We do have to rise up. We do have to rise up to produce. We can't be consumers of this stuff forever. We have to produce. And that's important as men. We have these guys that are holding the standard for us, and we're cheering them on the sidelines and saying, yeah, get those whamming. But are we producing? That's the question. Are we leveling up and producing? And I think the sad part is that there's only 15% of men that actually take the information that we hear from them and that we get from them and actually apply it in our lives. So that leaves about 85% of them that are not doing anything.
Yes.
And I'm calling you out, the 85% of them that are not doing anything. And I'm saying, man up.
No, that's a great point. I think about with my clients, one of the initial things that I would say to people, I mean, it depends on the specific person, but for most, I would say to them, after we're done here, I never want to fucking see you again, because I want to give them the skills so that they never need to come back for help again. And then they can go ahead and give that to others. It's fantastic when I hear success stories and then see others that teach their friends, and then come back and tell me like what I taught them and how they taught it to others, and just the success just like completely compounds. It's amazing.
Yeah, my coaching sessions, I always say, it's not like therapy where you're in it indefinitely. Like 1-2 sessions max. Maybe in the first sessions, maybe you'll use it as a therapeutic type tool to where you'll unpack some things, and then we'll start putting you together. But by the end of session 2 max, you should have a framework installed and a roadmap that's clearly defined to know exactly where you need to go. And really, a lot of times, just about getting their bearings straight. And that's where I know a lot of guys talk shit sometimes, like, oh, these red pill guys, these grifters, these content creators. But really, like, I'm not keeping you on the hook for the long term. You should, like, sometimes you need your blind spots identified, or sometimes, like, for guys that like the abroad topics, are like, hey, I learned Spanish really fast. I'm good at language and I'm good at music. So like sometimes guys, they kind of gravitate towards me over another content creator, maybe HUDs towards you over someone else because they resonate more with us. But really, it's just about identifying the blind spots, unpacking whatever trauma you have, whatever you're dealing with, putting a roadmap or a plan together, and then maybe check in a year, and we'll see how you're doing then. But really, a lot of times it's not that tough. But HUDs, I know we've talked and offline and online on other streams, that we kind of share the same philosophy there, that you don't need to be talking to me every week. I mean, really, like, you know what needs to be done. You need a guy like me just to kind of lay it out for you, and then maybe kick in the ass to get you started, and then I'll check in. And dude, a lot of my guys are making really good progress. I used to be obese, so I get a lot of guys that reach out to me like, hey, I'm 100 pounds overweight. I'm drinking 12 beers a day just to fall asleep and smoking a pack of cigarettes. Within a year, they're like, dude, I'm 60 pounds down. But I literally tell my clients, like, bro, you're going to die. Like, you are on a bad path. This is not going to end well for you. And it's not going to be like me, you know, falling off the fucking Acropolis because there's no like safety guards here or anything. It's going to be a slow, traumatic death. And sometimes they just need that finger in the face. Like, you were fucking
Well,
up.
you're pointing out something
Unfortunately,
that
a lot
men
of
don't
times
like
guys
to
don't
have
that
anymore.
because of the lack of masculinity. It's a
You're
hard
pointing
conversation,
exactly
but for me, it's obvious.
Yeah. You're pointing out the one thing that men are lacking today. See, I said this in HUD's other stream. What stream was it, HUD's?
When I pulled you into Men and Now.
Yeah. I said that, you know what? It's like, you know, men spaces today. The reason why men don't like men's spaces today is because we challenge you. I'm going to test your strength. If you're part of my community, please believe I'm going to test your fucking strength. I'm going to test what you say. I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to call you out, you know? And you know what? Apex Insight, you're right. Churches don't preach to children to honor their fathers. They don't tell wives to respect their husbands and submit to their husbands and their fathers. They don't. We tell men to man up. But I get that, but I'm also going to say this. Men, there is a level of manning up that we have to do. We don't get to just because we have a dick does not mean we deserve respect. We know respect is earned. We have to create. We have to be worthy of respect. Okay? That means we also have to be worthy of honor. Right? So there's a level of manning up that has to be done. But there's also, you know, a level of default. Like all the sacrifices I do, I may not be perfect, but all the sacrifices I do for my kids, there's a level of respect that's owed. You know? Mm-hmm. But it's the same thing, but it's still a requirement of us. And here's the thing, men, if we don't require that respect from our kids and our honor from our kids and that respect and submission from our wives, then we don't respect or honor ourselves.
Yes.
There's a level that we don't even uphold it for ourselves. We just go out there and do the work and think that like if we build it, they will come. I'm sorry. No, if we're doing the work, we're saying, hey, if you're not worthy of my reward, then goodbye.
That's the truth. I mean, like, let's think about this. You know, Jaron, you work directly with Rich Cooper and Glenn. You're talking to Rolo and you're meeting up with all these huge people and building that network. They don't take you seriously unless you got something to offer and you command that respect to, you know, be able to sit at a table with them.
Yep. I was a fly on the wall for the first year and a half in Rich's top 1% group because I didn't really know how I'd fit in. I'm like, oh, I'm not these guys' level. And then I saw them, they'd post and they'd ask questions on very specific topics where I'd consider myself a subject matter expert, like moving to Latin America. I'm like, okay, I did that 20 years ago. Like I learned the language really quick. I went to one of the best universities in Mexico. So like I can opine on these topics from a source of credibility because I've met no one that quite does it like I do. And once I started piping up, then I became like, okay, Jaron's the resident expert on these topics, on these specific areas. And then I started becoming recognized and known. And then I got invited on his shows. Then I got invited on the generals panel every week. Then I got invited on his Monday night shows. And then I became the guy for these very specific topics. But I say to a lot of my coaching clients too, or like guys that join my community, they come in and they're kind of a fly on the wall. And I will check in at like certain milestones. Like, hey man, you know, I know you spend the money to join this group. I want to make sure you're getting the most value out of it you can, but you haven't been piping up. Well, I don't know where I fit in. It's like, you know something. You are an expert at something. There's like, okay, yeah, maybe there's guys that on the surface level, they're way more advanced than you in various areas of their life, but there's something very specific that you know that would add a shit ton of value to these guys' lives. Identify what that is and lead with that. And then that gets the conversation going. And then you hang out with these guys. Like there's guys in Rich's group. There's one guy, he doesn't say it publicly. I'm pretty sure he's a billionaire. Like he's like a billionaire commercial real estate investor. And then I hang out with this guy and I'm just amazed. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not this guy's level, to be frank. And then he says something like, hey man, I'm the king of my industry, but I'm a peasant in my own house. My wife will not fucking touch me. I'm like, there's my end. Like this guy needs something from me. Like this guy needs my help on an issue. And then you become friends. And then you're sitting around at a table drinking old fashions and smoking cigars. You're like, I'm at this level.
Value exchange.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, no,
But
that's
anyone
value.
watching, you know something valuable. You can help people, whether you believe it or not. You are an expert at something.
You could be an expert at fucking up. Like HUDs.
I mean,
I am.
that's the
Oh, I've
truth.
done it.
That's the truth. An expert at fucking up, because then you can share your stories. You can help people avoid problems.
Danny, I'm not sure if I added Darren to the stream. Darren, you're not streaming on this one, are you? To your channel?
No, I don't have him. I don't have him hooked up.
Okay. You know what? Danny,
I've got pretty slow internet anyway, so I didn't want to add more video.
Your like is received, Danny. Your like is received. But guys, I want to wrap this up because I want to enjoy the rest of Father's Day, and I know you guys want to go make babies or at least practice making babies. So let's wrap this up. It's Father's Day. Yes, men, you do need to man the fuck up. But you know what? There's men that are waiting to help you to man up. And we're not telling you to man up like the Whammons say to man up. No. This is not, let me tell you something. I don't want you to man up for women. I want you to man up for you to man up. I want you to man up for you. I want you to man up because I want you to be the best man that you want to be. Not for the ladies. The ladies are a byproduct of you manning up.
Yeah.
So that's what I got to say with that. You guys want to say anything before we do a round table and close out?
No, I 100% agree with you. Man up for yourself. Be as successful as you can in life. You may end up like Glenn, sitting at tables with Rolo, hanging out with some really, really cool people. You may be like Jaron, hanging out with billionaires. I mean, that's just what comes. That's what comes. Success will bring you, that self-improvement towards success will bring you some of the greatest satisfaction in life, and everything else comes along with it.
Jaron, anything from you?
Yeah, guys, put yourself out there. I know when I came to these spaces, I absorbed a lot of the red pill content. I regurgitated, I parroted it back to people, but I wasn't really doing anything with it. And then it wasn't until, or I was one of those guys, I made my focus women. So I got really good with women. And then I realized, you know what, it's really easy to get women, but like it's hard to make solid male friendships. So that's where I started doing the coaching services, getting the private men's communities, started my own channel. I had an anonymous blog for years. So I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to put my real name out there. I have a very uncommon name. This is my real name. So that requires a degree of intellectual honesty too. So not saying that what I do is exactly what you should do, but start putting yourself out there. Start putting your face out there. Start meeting guys. Go to cigar bars, car rallies, meetups, races, the gym, fighting gyms, dojos. Get on a plane and go abroad. I'm at a like international hotel right now. I'm meeting people from all over the world, and they're all fucking cool. Like, oh, I'm here for an international conference. Awesome. Guess what? Sometimes I feel guilty when I travel. I'm like, oh, I should be working harder. I don't have it in the budget. But I'm going to go up on the roof right after this. I'm going to continue a conversation and probably pay for my entire Europe trip tonight, or at least the course of the trip. So it might be tough. And again, you might be holding yourself back. You have those theoretical stuff in your head. You're like, maybe I'm not quite the man that I want to be. Doesn't matter. You have value to add to this world. Get yourself out there and start putting your face in front of people, and doors just start opening up. And the more doors that open up, you start getting to a point where like, okay, shit, like not only like I have an overabundance of options. I have to start saying no. And then you're at that level. And it becomes like, what do I say no to? Like now I have too many opportunities on the table. So just start putting yourself out there. And then guys, if I'm new to the audience, you want to get to know more about me, my name is Jaron Scott. Just hit me up on Instagram at Jaron Scott, JarenScott. You can find a link to my channel there if you want coaching services or want to know more about my men's group. I know HUDS has one. I know we all got stuff going on, but again, I might be a new face, so feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm going to be on the road for the next few weeks, but I do check my messages. When I'm at like a hotel and have Wi-Fi connection, so I will get back to you.
Looks like you got a fan there, Jaron.
Yes. I'm looking forward to the YouTubes. Yes, I have a fan.
What do you guys got going on? HUDs, let's start with you, then we'll go around clockwise.
Oh man, look at that voice crack. Not much really to share.
Testosterone?
Not really much to share right now. Outside of what I'm doing, Men of Now is a new YouTube channel and brand that I've been working on. Glenn has come on for one of the shows. I think we're like 8 or 9 episodes in. We just had a show on the gender pay gap where we have a professional women's basketball player come on, and we talked about really, is there a pay gap? And that was a really, really cool discussion. I came with a lot of facts, statistics, all that. And then in the future, we're having a lot of big names. Like next week, Paul from Come On Man podcast coming on, and then the following.
Hold on. Let me tell you about that candy ass Paul Bauer from Come On Man podcast.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
He went and got himself made the belt of the red pill. It's like the Manosphere Championship Wrestling belt. And I'm going to crush his candy ass at Summer Smash for Rule 0. That's right. I'm going to DDT him. I'm going to give him the people's elbow. And then I'm going to give him a wedgie all the way up to make his tighty whities into a thong. That's right. I said it, Paul. I'm coming for you.
Oh, man. You guys are funny with that. And then like we're having a lot of big names on, like, so then the following week we got Trip Advice, if anybody's familiar with him, dating stuff, like over 1 million subs, and we're going to continue doing stuff like that, so definitely check that out. I need to figure out I probably will put it into my Instagram link tree or whatever, but it's Men of Now. I'll figure out a better way to promote it, but we're building that up. That's absolutely amazing. Outside of that, the continued stuff that I'm doing with Glenn and others.
Jaron, what you got going on besides traveling the world and spreading your seed like,
Yeah, so my main website, it's menshrine.com. That's more about like me undergoing personal development. I eventually want to transition that into a brand where I do more of the abroad topics, more of the geo arbitrage, how to make money remotely. I feel like kind of at the point where if you go to my channel, a lot of it's really long form content. If you watch the playlist, it's kind of like, what else do I have to say? I need to be out there having new experiences. So I mentioned the pre-show. I was in Italy the last couple of days. I speak Spanish really well, and I learned Spanish in a very unique way and actually sold that as a service to Mexican businessmen within 30 days. So it's not your typical language instruction. It's a framework that you install in your head, and there's some ear training and mouth training. There's like some little tricks there too. So I've already gone through that process. After like 3 days in Italy, I'm like, oh my God, I can understand them and they can understand me. And then first few days, I'm gonna be honest, guys, I was like trying to day game girls, like they weren't having it. And then all of a sudden it clicked in my head. I'm like, all right, I think there's like 65% mutual intelligibility between Spanish and Italian. My brain started charting out these tables. And then I'm like, immediately, like in game, when you're getting results because it's very easily quantifiable, based on the notches or whatever. So I want to start doing more of that stuff. I am kind of a nerd for culture and language and history. So I work a lot. I live in Mexico City. That's, I'm a resident there legally now. So if you guys have any Mexico advice or any of that stuff, I'm going to start pivoting my content more into that area. But I do like the red pill topics. I like the dating topics, the game topics. I used to be a former fat guy, lost 100 pounds in the course of a year, and then ended up doing like fitness model photo shoots when I lived in California. So I've been from 38% body fat to 8% body fat. So if you need to know how to make that transition, I can do that too. But so I've got a lot of stuff.
When are you going to get on
too much
stage?
on my channel lately.
When are you going to compete on stage?
Go to my Instagram. I don't know if I want to compete because I'm looking for balance in my life. I could definitely do it. My brother's done it. He's actually with a chick right now, but my brother's done it, and yeah. Now he's actually in the running for the photo cover for I think Men's Health and Fitness right now. So follow me on Instagram. You'll see all the stories. You guys know what I'm talking about. Awesome. Again, if I'm new to the audience, yeah, I got good genetics, but I'm like the runt of my family. He's built. He was like an infantry Marine, 50 caliber, wounded warrior, almost died, and then could barely walk, and then a year later ran a 100-mile marathon. So he has the physical genes. I have the physical genes compared to average people, but I'm kind of a nerd. So guys who follow my channel know what I'm talking about. When I go on Rich's channel, a lot of the audience doesn't like me. Like, Jaren's a dork. He's not masculine. It's like, no, it's fucking salutatorian. But you can be a nerd and still be red pill and still be masculine. It just might look a little differently. I'm more artsy fartsy. I like museums and, kind of a ethereal out there shit. But I've made it work for me. So if you're into any of those kind of subjects, again, hit me up on Instagram at Jaren Scott, JarenScott. I think I will start going more towards the expat type topics because there seems to be a niche there. there is some overlap with the passport bros thing. So it's really just about how to build an awesome life abroad. I'm not really good on like the foreign corporate structure, like tax havens or any of that stuff. I'll bring guys on my network that do that, but I'm good on just building an awesome lifestyle. Geo arbitrage is the key. Make money in dollars, pay in pesos or whatever, third world currency is. And you can really get a lot out of life for not working that hard. I know that doesn't bode well or vibe well with everyone, but I think I feel like I kind of cracked the code. Everyone's looking for the cheat codes. I'm like, I feel like I have it to the point where, I can work when I want to and then just live a fantastic life. And I think that's really what it's all about. So again, if my message resonates with you, hit me up and, we'll make some magic happen. And I am a nerd too. I like discussing new ideas. So some stuff like this, like sons of single moms, like we've had discussions in my private group about that. Oldest son of single mom, like how does that affect your adult relationships? These are things I haven't shared publicly, but we really get into it in the private group I manage.
I like to have you on a show about malicious mother syndrome.
Oh,
because
I like that term.
Would be a good one.
Yeah, I can definitely.
And Danny Arnold, it's coming. I know you've been wanting it. Danny. I'm gonna bring it to you. But thank you, Jen, for coming on. What do you guys expect from me? Well, you know what? Once I get my studio set up and once I get things taken care of with the workout here, because you guys do know that I'm over at Sticky Paws helping them out right now, and actually learning a lot from them, how to operate and run a podcast studio. So I'm doing that out here in Vegas. I moved all the way out here for that. But what you can catch from me is like I will be working with Rollo Tomasi, producing his Access Vegas interview with the one and only Robert Kiyosaki. That's coming out the later end of this month. And also I'll be working with Rollo when he goes down and he does No Jumper. So I will be helping him collaborate and create content for that. Outside of that, you will be catching me and the husband continuing our Red Pill news, which will turn into a late night show. So you guys stay tuned to that. We're going to have a late night Red Pill show where I'm going to bring on guests. Huds is going to wear a bikini. It's going to be great. And also on top of that, we will be doing we're going to do episode 2. We have 10 episodes we're going to be filming for the relationship marriage counselor, your Red Pill marriage counselor. You want to come on my show one day, but I'm in the Midwest. Hey, Apex Insight, hit me up. Just hit me up on Instagram, send me an email or, Twitter. You can catch all my descriptions. I think it's in my link tree in the description. Just hit me up and I would love to bring you on, bro. Love to talk with you. But yeah, that's what you got going on for me. Happy Father's Day to all your dads out there. You know what? Happy Father's Day to all the men who have mentored young men. Your drill instructor. Happy Father's Day to Sergeant Ramirez, who kicked my ass in basic training. Thank you, motherfucker. Yeah. Thank you.
You know what? Here's one more takeaway too, guys. If you don't know how to help out, or if you think like maybe you're lost, there is something that some young guy would love to know. So like seek mentors, but seek mentees too. And I've gotten a lot of value. Rich Cooper is one of my mentors. Love the guy to death. But a lot of the younger guys that reach out to me like, hey, Jaron, you're living life exactly how I want to live. And at first it's kind of humbling. You're like, oh my God, people look up to me. And then you start to help them out. And it really does something to you. It kind of brings you online, or it kind of levels you up as a man internally. And I think that's kind of the main points of the show. That's kind of what we're meant to do. We're meant to foster new generations and make sure that the legacy lives on. So definitely look around your circle and see if there's a young guy that you can help out too.
We're not just consumers. You can't just don't just consume this content. Produce it. All right? Produce. Take what we give you. Produce something for the next generation. How about we go out with the famous HUD's dating coach?
Yes, that was so funny.
All right, Jaron, I know you want it. This is just for you.
There we go.
If you are in Philadelphia and you're gay, and
I'm
you
your
want, some help dating, I got you covered.
Oh, Glenn, you'll like this.
Are you gay and looking for love?
What was that?
I'll say I met some chick because I've been doing mostly day gaming, which usually isn't my forte. I'm more of an online game guy, but like Tinder kind of sucks here. So walking about, I met a chick and she invited me to a swingers party. It's like, who's gonna be there? And she sent me a pic of like 8 dudes. I'm like, yeah, no, don't want to do that. That's not a swingers party. That's a fucking gangbang. So
Yeah, that's like
kick it over to you, Huds. That's your territory.
Are you gay and looking for love? Are you having a hard time? Are you wanting to find meaningful connections, not just guys that want to pull their pants down, show you their Johnson, and make you suck their dick while you're trying to read a book? Do you find yourself striking out at your local gay watering hole? Strike 1, strike 2, strike 3, and nobody just seems to be interested in your gay ass? You should contact the Hudsman, the dating coach for the gays, Philly's best. So if you want to end up like these carpet munchers who got married, or these Peter Puffers who got married and living their happily gay after, then you need to reach out to the Hudsman, guaranteed Philly's best gay dating coach just for you.
You know you love that, Huds. You know you love it. All right, guys. Until next time. Peace.